Hi there folks, my name's Novoin24 and welcome to another little review of an FSX product. So today we're going to be having a look at a recently released another new mission pack from the guys over at Take Flight Interactive. So Take Flight Interactive of course are the ACES alumni that have brought us now 3 mission packs into the FSX world. So they've released the Air Alaska pack, the Final Approach pack which was reviewed on this channel a few weeks ago, and now they've got the Farm Air package. Now today we're going to be having a look at the Steam Edition version of this mission pack, which includes 5 missions. We're going to have a look at those. Now first of all I want to say thank you very much to the wonderful guys over at Dovetail Games for providing me with the review copy of this add-on today. Alright, so as I said, Take Flight have been, they're very well respected, very well renowned, but this is their 3rd mission pack they've released, and coming into this mission pack I was actually kind of excited. Because I mean, Air Alaska was an absolutely fantastic mission pack with excellent storyline, some great challenges, and a really good learning curve. Final Approach series is really good for practicing skills that some pilots, some newer pilots might not have got their heads around yet, and for older pilots it might be good to get a bit of a refresher course in. So it's really well laid out. So I was really excited to see that we've got a 3rd mission pack from them, being the Farm Air pack. So the Farm Air pack puts you in controls of the in the daring life of a crop dusting pilot. So you come on board as a brand new crop dusting pilot. You go through a series of missions. So your first mission is your qualification test, as it were, to see whether or not you're going to be up to have the right stuff to be a crop dusting pilot. And it then goes through a series of missions where you take on some fields, where you take on a helicopter, using helicopter downdraft to keep frost from forming on trees, all the way through to fighting fires from the crop dusting, as well as taking on the #1 crop dusting pilot of the company. So quite a spread of missions that this one gives you, and I was really excited to do it. But once I got into it, I found some glaring issues with it. Most notably being the learning curve, or rather lack thereof. It's insane. Anyway, so we're going to have a look at a couple of missions today, and to the point where we're actually going to be speaking to a special guest as well. So let's get started. So first off, let's do the first mission. So the mission pack is compatible with both. It includes missions for the default Maul, as well as the default Robinson R22. It is also compatible with the Alabao PA36 Pawnee Brave, available on Steam as well. So it's fully integrated. You can fly missions 1 and 3 through 5 in either the Maul or the Pawnee, and mission 2 is only flown with the Robinson R22. So as I said, we're going to get started. We're going to do the first mission, which is simply the getting to know you mission, and show that one. So let's show that one off first here. So let's so as I said, we're going to use the Pawnee for this one, the PA36. So let's go fly now for this one. Now, first thing I notice is the fact that there is no mission briefing. There's zip. There is nothing. There is no charts of the area, no map of the field that you're going to be flying on. There is just absolutely nothing. It's simply you click fly now, and you literally fly now. It drops you into the cockpit on the approach with your aircraft already running in the air and just paused. Now, I was used to that experience, from that's what we saw with the Final Approach series, but the sheer lack of documentation was a little odd, and I thought, well, that's a bit of a shame, bit of a missed opportunity to give us a bit of story. But anyway, so that's all right. Let's get underway. So here we are in our aircraft. Let's unpause. Actually, before I do, I want to show you something kind of cool. We're going to have a view of the outside of the aircraft as we go through this one, because it just shows off one of the kind of cool, kind of neat features of this. Alright, so let's go.
Howdy, rookie. That's your field, just ahead on the left side of the road. Be sure to stay low and get a good spray on the crowd. Remember, time is money. Last week
And there was one of the first things that I noticed, that crash detection is forced on. Which, normally I wouldn't mind, but the fact that, it's not informed to you the crash detection is forced on, kind of a bit rude, a bit annoying, but anyway. Alright, let's give it another crack.
Howdy, rookie. That's your field, just ahead on the left side of the road. Be sure to stay low and get a good spray on the crowd. Remember, time is money. MacLeod Jimmy was able to dust this field in a minute and a half. Can you do better?
That's the other thing that it does as well. So you do have to be quite low to the field, so it does give you sort of boxes to actually sort of make sure to guide you under. So you do actually go underneath and actually get it onto the crops. We are doing our whiffadill turn to get us back on the approach. I'm going to go back and do that last one that we missed. So there we go. All done.
That was the fastest time I've seen you. Head back to home base. I've got a contract ready for you to sign.
So, overall, it's like, okay, it's a fairly basic introduction. Glaring issue, the first thing that I saw was the fact that there was no actual tutorial of how to correctly fly crop dusting missions and how actual crop dusters fly and the maneuvers that they use, and again, that missing from the documentation. So it was like, okay, well, that's okay. I knew a little bit from doing the Alabao mission that comes with the Alabao Pawnee, and I did extensive reading up on throughout my work for this review. But that's right, you don't have to return at the airport, you don't get any bonuses for this one, so let's finish this mission here. Alright, so we're going to end our mission here. So we've completed the dust the field as fast as possible. Fantastic, all good. Okay, end mission, done. Alright, so seemingly, okay, we had plenty of time to do it in, the field was good, aircraft handled right. The surprise of the crash boxes, the crash detection being forced on, no problem with it being forced on, but, a little warning would have been nice. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of good, so I was fairly impressed. Alright, so then I moved on to some of the later missions. Now, I'm not going to show you Whirlwind because I'll be quite honest, I'll be the first one to admit that my helicopter skills are pretty awful. Let's instead have a look at Duster, which is mission 3, and we'll do it in the Pawnee. And this one here, so this one gives you a 2.5 minutes to dust the field. So let's see. So again, we did the first field in a minute and a half. So it was like, okay, all right, well, fairly good. It was forgiving enough that we could actually miss one of the crop squares and actually get banned for a second pass at it. So this should be all right. Okay, probably going to push us a bit further, but let's see how we go. Alright, so here we are once again on the mission. So we're you can see we're paused in again, no mission briefing, just straight into the cockpit. I've got the external view up there again for you, so you can see, as you would have seen in the last video, how it automatically triggers the smoke effect and the crop dusting effect as you go over the boxes. Here we are, we're paused in, ready to go. So we can see that they field ahead of us, yeah, a bit bigger, so that should be alright, but it should be alright. We've got 2.5 minutes to do it, so let's see how we go.
I've got a big job for you today. Dead ahead of you is Johnson's Field. It's irregular and full of obstruction. Good luck.
So you can see it's a bit of a bigger field, not too much bigger. So yeah, we should be able to get this done in the time. Let's just we'll just do our whiffadiddle turns, and we'll keep everything right, and we should be fine. Unfortunately, the smoke effect doesn't always take effect like it's supposed to, but it looks good when it is there. So I guess some of the triggering needs a bit more of a look at. Make sure we avoid that power pylon on the way through here. Alright, so here we are. We're still 1 minute, so we should still be alright. See how we go. Make sure we don't fly under the top green box to make sure we don't lose, we don't miss any fields. There. Bring back the turn again. And weaving between some buildings here. Alright, up again. Through here and just glancing at the time, and didn't dive enough on that one, so we missed that one. So definitely going to miss the 2:30, but we should still get something because we're still going to manage to finish the field. Alright, one there. Up and over. There, we'll get our last two done over there in a sec. So it's taking me a bit longer, so yeah, it's a bit longer than I normally as I said, I've extensively been practicing these missions for this review. And I've had a lot of trouble, and I'll be honest, I haven't managed to get this down in less than 3 minutes. This one's a bit longer than my normal time, but normally I'll be able to get this done in 3 minutes.
It's a difficult field, but you held your own. Come on back to the airfield now.
So he says, okay, so we held our own, but, we still failed it. Which, okay, that's fine, but here's the thing, and I thought, okay, the first few times I flunked it, I thought, okay, alright, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe, I don't claim to have, it's like, I think my piloting skills are reasonable. I don't think that I'm the best of anything like that, but, try as I might with both the Maul and the Pawnee, I couldn't get it right, because I was, and I was flying it, within the aircraft's limits. So, I thought it was high time that I invested some help. Alrighty folks, so to continue this on, as I said before, I am bringing in an expert. So because of the challenges and the difficulties that you've just saw me demonstrate with this mission pack, I wanted to enlist the help of a pilot who is quite frankly, far superior in his abilities than me. Now, as I said, I don't think of myself as a bad pilot, but I know my skill limitations. So I've enlisted the help of a brilliant virtual aviator. So we've got Razor, who is Blue Angels number 5, the lead solo from the FSX Blue Angels.
Hello, everybody.
So I've enlisted Razor's help because I wanted to enlist the help of somebody who is an incredible virtual aviator, who's a real aviator in the real world as well, and I wanted to enlist his help to actually analyze this mission pack for us, to actually sort of give me some advice and actually just see what it's actually like. So the videos we're about to watch, and we're going to talk through these now, are actually Razor doing some of these missions. So Razor, we're going to get started now. This one, tell me a little bit about this first one we're going to be looking at.
All right, so this first one, basically I tried to keep it somewhat realistic, doing what's known as a Whifferdale turnaround at most of the end of the paths, which is an orbital rendezvous, climbing up, easing the power in most cases, and then banking the airplane either 290 degrees or past it in order to let the airplane drop through the horizon and use that to regain speed and to make a tighter turn.
All right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this video now. So we're watching it now. So we've got the hard maneuver. So this is one of the later missions in this mission pack, where you're actually racing against another crop dusting pilot.
Yep. So we're racing against what they consider as the top pilot in the company. So what they consider as being the best pilot that you could verse.
And we see here that we've finished the first run. We're pulling up through the turn here in the power, sort of coming back on as we descend back into the second run.
Yep. So then we'll come back to the second field here. If you look across the field, you can see the Jimmy, as they call him, is on the other side. Pretty even at this point. But here's where you'll really notice that I'm going to lose a lot of ground trying to make this turn really tight, but yet still stay inside the G limits of the airplane, as well as the forces, all the forces of the flight.
Cool.
So as I roll out here, you'll notice that Jimmy is far in front of me already.
Yeah, we can see that he's just retained his title, as the mission audio says, as he finished his boxes significantly ahead of you. So, and as you say, that was keeping it realistic, wasn't it?
Right. Yep. So I was trying to keep that one pretty much as realistic as I could, keeping everything inside the limits of the airplane and not over G'ing. Most general aviation airplanes are capable of about 2 to 3 Gs per their pilot operating handbook, whereas in reality they really could take about 5 to 6 if they needed to. But the thing to keep in mind with that is those are spike Gs, basically an initial pull to keep you away from the ground without ripping the wings off. But sustaining Gs is that's a completely separate can of worms, if you will. So you can't really sustain Gs anything typically over 2 or 3 in any general aviation airplane without damaging the airframe.
Cool. All right. So we're going to watch the second video now. So this second video is sort of like a how-to, because I must admit that I tried to do this as well. I tried to watch how he was flying, and I believe you've made an interesting discovery about how they've actually programmed the AI aircraft.
Right. Yeah. So I'll come around the corner of the cornfield, or the field rather, and I'll come in behind him, just kind of try to fly formation close enough to him to see what they're doing. And I believe I brought up the panel that shows the G's as well at some point in this. But yeah, I was really curious to figure out how in the heck he was beating me on that last turn, because I felt like I was basically max performing the airplane as best as I could. So you'll see in these turns, once you get to those points and you can kind of see a little closer, you'll see that he drops the flaps, which
Yeah, he's
typically
just doing his pull up now, and he's just to put full flaps out on the mall as he's climbed.
Right. Yep. So typically something that, yes, I would imagine. I'm not a crop duster in the real world. I haven't really talked to any of them, but from what I'm aware of, basically most of their turns consist of either flat turns or whifferdills. So they they wouldn't use flaps in most cases unless they really needed to turn around quick. And if you watch or notice the airspeed in some of those turns, it was way above the white arc, which is the flap operating speed in any airplane. So that
And
was rather disappointing to see.
yeah, so essentially they're ignoring the actual limitations of the aircraft in order to be able to produce this, which is why we're having so much trouble. Like as I said earlier, I was trying to actually follow this. I did a lot of reading on crop dusting and the techniques and actually trying to put them into place, and always found myself falling short on this mission and the missions in general. And it's interesting with that actually now observing how they actually programmed the AI to do it, and essentially how they've programmed missions when it might just be you, but where you've actually got to try and actually beat the clock. This is the challenge you're facing. You're facing a mission that's been set up with timing based on overstressing the aircraft.
Right, exactly. Yep, they're using a baseline as an airplane that is flying, in my personal opinion, completely out of the operating range of the airplane. You can drop in a number of airplanes, 172 I'm most familiar with. I know you can drop a notch of flaps in the S model above the white arc. You have to be under 110 knots, which is outside the arc. But once you drop that second notch of flaps, you have to be within the white arc, which you can obviously tell here in this in the video there that they were dropping far more than one notch of flaps instantly, and they were approaching yellow line in one of those turns, which is obviously way outside the arc.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely not the most realistic, which is a little disappointing again to see. So this final this next to final video that we're going to have a look at is a rerun of your competition against Jimmy. So we're just going to start looking at that one now.
Yep. So this one, I basically threw all the realism out the window. The number one thing that I did here, which is kind of difficult to see in the video itself, but I basically trimmed the nose of the airplane up as high as it would possibly go while still having a little bit of push capability with the yoke. So then once we hit the end of the field, I'll pitch up abruptly, including a slight right turn typically, and then come back around the bottom side, basically just throwing all realism out the window and trying to get back to the field as fast as possible. I did forget to bring up the G meter on this one to kind of see what we were pulling, but my best guess based off previous runs was a sustained 3 to 4 Gs through most of that maneuver.
Which is way outside the operating envelope of a mall. Definitely way outside of it.
Certainly outside most of the operating envelope for any general aviation airplane. So yeah, also rather disappointing.
So I suppose it proves that yes, you can beat these missions. However, as you say, you have to throw everything out. Now, what I find really interesting is what you do next here at the end here. So tell me a little bit about this, what we're about to see.
Right, so right here, I'll start rolling trim back into what I was flying, and I'll let go of the stick completely, and I'll let the airplane climb as if I wasn't holding any pressure on the stick at all. So at neutral stick, the airplane will climb almost
vertical.
vertically.
That's terrifying.
So that just gives you a good illustration of just how much I was really pulling, or I had so much trim in the airplane in order to get it to turn around the corner fast enough.
And as I said, that's the very disappointing thing about this, and I think this kind of summarizes this mission pack very, very well. Is the fact that it's missed its mark. It's trying to it seems to be trying to walk a line between it seems to try to walk a line between its appeal, whether it's appealing to people who want to fly an aircraft in a different scenario, and people who just want to throw the throttle forward and just see what happens. And I think it misses that, because it misses both sides of that, because there's nothing in it for the pilots who want to fly realistically, who want to sort of do these approaches like these amazing crop duster pilots in the real world, because everything has to be pushed outside the performance envelope. and then for people who just, who are new to the flight simulation world and might be picking this up and maybe as their first mission pack, it's going to be very frustrating because the requirements are so tight that even just throwing the throttle forward and hoping, there's still a lot of skill that has to be applied to it as well. Would you fair
Right.
fair for agreement?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's like you said, it's definitely disappointing because it's right in between the two typical levels you would look at for a simulation pilot. Someone that's just kind of a weekend simulation pilot who just wants to get on and kind of relieve some stress maybe and fly around. And then you have the others that are really looking for a good solid simulation. And like you said, the problem is that there are a few things in the mission pack that do try to hold some realism. For example, crashing into the ground will crash you and fail the mission.
The force crash, the forcing the crash detection on is an interesting point, and it's an interesting point, the decision that they went to. So yeah, interesting.
Right. Yep. So you have the forcing the crash, and then you also have the altitude that you have to be at in order to actually trigger these boxes. It's not unbelievably low, at least by my standards, but it certainly is lower than a typical operating altitude for any airplane, even a helicopter, to be honest. So it's certainly challenging, and to be a weekend warrior simulation pilot that just wants to, like you said, go full throttle and pull the stick as hard as they can, or the yoke, or whatever they're using, it still would be incredibly challenging because you have to know enough about the airplane in order to really pull it outside of its limits, like demonstrated with the trim being incredibly nose high.
And I think this is so overall, I am going to say that I can't recommend this add-on. I really can't, because like I know it's only in the $6 price range, so it's a very low cost add-on. However, I cannot recommend it because it misses the mark on so many places. Now we look at Take Flight's pedigree. They did the Air Alaska add-on, which is a great story, a great mission pack with a whole heap of variety of scenarios and aircraft. So it was really, really polished, really well executed. We've seen them come out with Final Approach, which, while basic, is designed more for the newcomers to the simulation world. And the fact that although its mission completion requirements are fairly loose, it actually teaches some very important skills and some very important features about an aircraft and how to fly. So it's very useful as a training tool for the weekend warriors wanting to maybe progress into becoming be more, learn more about their aircraft and about their sim. It's great for that. But this one, I feel, just doesn't offer anybody anything. It's going to frustrate the dedicated simmer pilots with the fact that you have to throw realism out the window to be able to complete it, and it's going to frustrate the newcomers and the more casual simulation pilots out there, because of the simple fact that although it throws realism out, there are still skills that you have to know that it doesn't teach you. As I said, there is no learning curve in this mission pack. It is straight from stupidly easy to insanely stupidly hard. So yeah, as I said, guys, I'm going to have to say it's a no from me. It's a terrible line, I know, but I cannot recommend this to anyone. But I do want to say thank you very much to you, Razor, for giving me a second opinion, and the opinion of a far better flyer than myself.
Yep, absolutely. I always enjoy coming on to help you out whenever you need it.
Thank you very much. And as I said, folks, I'm not going to recommend this one to you. If you do choose to get it, this is available now on Steam. So this is, of course, we have been looking at this as the Steam Edition version, but of course this is available. So this is available now on Steam for around about $6 or your regional equivalent if you do choose to invest. But as I said, I cannot recommend this one at this present time, because I feel that the requirements it has and the misjudgment by the development team really do let down what was potentially could have been a really incredibly fun and exciting and challenging mission pack. I just think that they just dropped the ball on this one. So, yep, that's going to be my conclusion. Alright, folks, thanks very much for joining me for this little review of Farm Air for FSX Steam Edition. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And, of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for joining me. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.